Hey dumplies, it's Dave Desai. We need to talk about Taehyung's recent trip, which was overshadowed by the military situation. We also have V at the beach, a little nude and with some people, and of course there's rumors. We also have an alleged stalker with Jimin and what that's about. So hater or not, make sure you subscribe with the notification bell on, grab your dumplings, hey Spilling Mug merch, and let's get into it. So the boys have been traveling a lot lately. It's very interesting because it's almost like you know they're working on an album or music or something when you see the boys travel. Some of the best artists and some people you'd want to work with are not people who are always within your local area and sometimes in the States or Europe. And even if you're in the US and Europe, you might not be in the exact city as the artist you want to work with. And by artist, it can be producer, director, and of course singer. However, we never know the exact reason as to why they travel until much later when the photo comes out or the content comes out. There was a lot of heavy speculation on why Jimin had flown to New York. He was spotted at the airport in Korea and then spotted at JFK in New York. There had also been many reports that Jimin was going on a personal trip. However, I really personally doubt that. The exact location of where he was flying was revealed, I believe, before he even boarded. So if it was a personal thing, none of that would be public knowledge. Sasaengs or stalkers can only track business trips because these stalkers work for either the airline or sometimes a label. I don't know about Hybe specifically, but that's how they get that info. When the members are on a personal schedule, they don't have to tell their company, especially since they're no longer rookies anymore. They do have some personal freedom. And then also, why were there so many reporters at the airport waiting for Jimin? And also, like, you have to go to Hybe and request bodyguards. Like, bodyguards don't live with you. So Jimin did all that. The reporters were there, and then it's being reported as a personal trip. Also, like, would he choose to go to New York on a personal trip? Because anything you can do in New York, you can do in a big city like Seoul as well, as you can actually speak the language of that city. I believe he was there to shoot something or work with an artist, and of course to finalize his album, which I am expecting to hear more about soon. Apparently some armies online were upset when there was some footage coming out of Jimin at the TSA check. He was doing the check and someone was just recording him there, and this angered a lot of people because they were saying someone had snuck in and harmed Jimin or was there to stalk Jimin. While it's definitely possible for someone to gather that flight information of Jimin and get into the gate, it's also very possible that this person in front or behind Jimin could have been a fan or wasn't a fan but just noticed that Jimin had this huge number of people waiting for him and that meant he was a celebrity, and so the person in front of Jimin just took the opportunity to record a potential celebrity and then later take the footage and Google it and see if anyone pops up, and then they can post it. I don't think anyone hurt Jimin because obviously Jimin was fine, and Jimin was definitely okay with being recorded that day because obviously there were a ton of reporters there and armies that had shown up to record him. And the fact that no security or anyone stopped anyone from recording Jimin at that point shows that it probably was okay, because when someone records you, that's not inconspicuous. Like, it's very obvious. But again, this is subjective in my opinion. But my main issue is just how aggressive people got online over this, and I didn't like that. Saying that Jimin or Jimin's bodyguard needed to go and smash this person's phone who is recording. That is illegal, by the way. You cannot touch someone else's stuff and you cannot smash it. And no, the celebrity would not have any legal standing because they're a celebrity and they're a public figure who is in a public area and can be recorded. New York and Korea are one-party consent states, meaning if you're recording anything, you are the only one that needs to approve. It doesn't need everyone on camera or in the video to approve. What this person did is not against the law, and likely for a celebrity like Jimin, it didn't really make him uncomfortable. I just hate reading how aggressive people get, and it's like the celebrity is literally not even angry. Why are some of these people? Alongside Jimin traveling, we also had Taehyung heading over to Mexico for some reason that we didn't know about. I initially thought it was a personal trip as this wasn't super heavily documented. Here is why I thought that. Here's an instance in which likely a press release was not made. As we can see from the photos and stuff, there were a few reporters, but none of them really knew anything and there was no crowd, meaning no one knew. This was a case of either a private schedule where Taehyung asked Hybe to not let anyone know because we still see bodyguards, so he likely let Hybe know where he was heading, but we see no armies there. However, it turns out it might not be a personal trip, but maybe just a trip that Hybe didn't want to be heavily documented yet. It appeared like Taehyung was filming for something and went to Mexico alongside some of his actor friends in Korea. There ended up being a lot of photos circulating around of people spotting Taehyung in the area and in random places. I find it very interesting how the internet also wanted to categorize these people as stalkers, saying that they followed Taehyung to get this footage. However, there's no footage of Taehyung's hotel, nothing private, just in areas in which a lot of people there and they happen to spot Taehyung. Celebrity appearances and filming crews are rarely ever conspicuous. Filming crews are often very loud and obnoxious. Sorry, not sorry. I worked on set several times and I had to be this obnoxiously loud person a couple times as well. And then of course the filming crew takes up a lot of space, so you will see it. And in places like New York, people don't ever stop and watch. They don't care. But in places that may not have filming crews there all the time, it would draw a crowd, and people knowing the celebrity or not would often record because it's more of an unusual spectacle. We can even hear in a lot of the videos, the voiceovers for the people talking are speaking in the native language of the area. We can simply assume these are native people, meaning if it was stalkers, then some of those videos and voiceovers should be in Korean, no? People who decided to hop on the plane and follow Taehyung would be from Korea, right? But we really don't see any of that. So these are just local armies that happen to run into Taehyung. There was also a photo where one of the members Taehyung was with, I think it was Park Seo-joon, and I can't tell because the photo is so blurry, was waving at the person taking the photo or video, meaning they are aware that they were being recorded. If they were uncomfortable, they would run away. There also was other footage during most of the day where I guess Taehyung had a moment to have a little fun. He was on the boardwalk or beach area and he had his shirt unbuttoned, spicy, and he ended up jumping into the ocean. He posted this, and of course he also posted him completely shirtless with a towel, and we actually got to see the 7 tattoo on his thigh. ARMY had been wondering for a while where the actual placement of the tattoo was, and now we know. The internet blew up with, oh, he nude, alongside, oh, his tattoo, and armies didn't know what to do with their heads. They just ripped it off. We'll sew it back on so you can hear the next rumor, because news of him going to Mexico was a bit hidden. People also assumed maybe he was going for a personal reason, like a lover thing. This is interesting because it shows me how traumatized people are over dating. Like, what had to happen within how you date that when someone does something without telling you, you assume they're dating someone. And I get it, I'm on that boat too. But people were going online to ask people to stop assuming this. The reason as to why he is anywhere will eventually be revealed, and if it's important, it will be known. There could be a specific reason as to why they're trying to keep the production of whatever this show could be very quiet. They cannot be picked up yet. That's always a big one. So they're shooting a pilot, for example, but they don't know if it'll even air, so they don't ever want to talk about it because it might not happen. And obviously Taehyung is at the beach hanging out with his friends. That doesn't mean dating. It doesn't mean he was using his free time to date, or that he was dating one of his friends. It just means they're all having a fun time. I can only wish I was having such a fun time right now in Mexico and enjoying that. Having a job like his is fun in a way where there's often an opportunity to have fun after work because you're in a tropical place and you're not working for the entire day. So just being in Mexico, obviously you're gonna go to the beach. That's like the thing everyone talks about doing. I don't think Taehyung is dating, and if he is, and you believe it's Jennie, well, there has been no public interaction between the two. If the two were actually dating, I think during the height of the rumors would have been the perfect time to admit it, because it seemed like most people were just already assuming it was real. The fact that they didn't proves it's not true. Now, let me know what you think, and make sure you check out my Patreon for more videos, a link down below. Thanks, this lovely comment right here. Love you, bye.